last time you were here, we had an awesome conversation.
Yes.
What did you get up to subsequent to that conversation?
Whoa. So the last time I was here, we were talking about Cell CC Youth as well as the spin-off 1818 Shayengoma female DJ search. So yeah, since then, it's been a great 2 years. Now that I think of it, it's been 2 years.
Time flies, eh?
Yeah, I know. It's been actually the best 2 years of my career. There's been just so much growth, especially with me being able to open up about my mental ailments, obviously trying to get to that level of mental wellness. It's the awards as well.
Oh, yeah?
So in the past 2 years, I have been cleaning up.
Yeah.
So also got a couple of awards, including the Basadi Music Award for Best Producer, as well as Metro FM actually recognizing me internally as the Best Producer. And I was also recognized by the Gauteng Gauteng legislature. Yes. Yeah. So the government recognized me as a woman of honor. And I'm actually currently nominated again for the Basadi Music Awards. And it's 2 awards for Best DJ in South Africa and the Best Collaboration on the song Ngeke. It's literally just over 2 months old and we're already nominated.
Wow.
Yeah. Super
exciting. How does it feel getting recognition left, right, and center for the awesome work that you do?
You know what? I've been in this building for just over 13 years, by the way. So it took a while for the recognition to come through. Yeah. So I also believe that it's the perfect time. I think these 13 years have been building. So now it's time to reap, the rewards. I've been sowing for 13 years and I am starting to reap the rewards. It feels amazing. I'm not going to lie. It feels amazing to realize that people notice what you do. They appreciate it and they feel that, it's not just a thank you, but let's give you something tangible that you can always have to show the great work that you do. So it's a true honor, to be honest with you.
Could this be a response to your mental ailments scenario where you've been working hard, you've been having sleepless nights, which obviously when you're a perfectionist like you and I, you want to see things happening as perfect as possible. And in that process, it's easy to fall into a trap or a scenario of mental ailments, which includes depression and bipolar. But then these recognitions therefore say you are stronger than all these challenges. Definitely.
You hit it on the nail. Like that's exactly what has contributed also, because there are many factors that have contributed to my mental ailments. But what you just mentioned, being a perfectionist, working so hard because you believe you are worth that recognition, you are worth the respect. I think for myself as a female, in a male-dominated industry, in various male-dominated industries, because my background is in IT, having studied IT, which is obviously male-dominated, then coming into radio, which is male-dominated, then becoming a DJ, which is male-dominated. Yeah. So having to work twice as hard, or sometimes 10 times as hard, it does give you like a lot of pressure. And I think even last time when I was here, we spoke about the challenges that we face as females, particularly female DJs and females in entertainment, especially when we talk about like the advances that men make, the sexual advances, So to be a woman that says no, it's rough. It's rough because some of the men that have the power will make you pay for it. They will make you pay for your no. So it adds that much struggle and pressure on you. But when you've got that thing inside of you that I am made of excellence and I know that I can deliver quality work. So I will let my work speak for itself. Yes, there will be challenges because obviously I've stepped on some wrong toes because of my no. But yeah, that pressure of having to achieve and making sure that my voice is not silenced has been one of those stresses that then added to my mental ailments. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it was very stressful.
Listening to your voice, accepting and appreciating your great energy says to me you are doing just fine. Are you coping?
Definitely. You see, the one thing about, especially depression, I want to focus on depression because I remember when I was initially diagnosed in 2010, I was still working at the bank. And it so happened that I was diagnosed just after being promoted to project management, and I was very young. I was only 25 years old, and I was the youngest I've ever had, and a black female because, like I mentioned, white male-dominated industry. I had just bought my car, I had just bought a house, I had just graduated. So people are like, no way. No, there's no way. It must be a misdiagnosis because here you are showing up. You're smiling, you are coping, you're delivering. I mean, hence you got the promotion. But they didn't realize that as much as I was a public success, internally I was a private failure. So it is that challenge when it comes to mental ailments such as depression, where we don't see what's really happening inside of you. And remember that as people, we tend to glorify material things. So there's so much focus on that when you start telling them that I'm not coping, this is what's happening to me mentally, they kind of dismiss it, you know. Others believe that maybe you're making it up, you're trying to get attention. But then when you look at the suicide rate, look at the industry individuals that we know. For example, your Ricky Ricks, who thought that he would commit suicide because just a few days prior, he was at an event where he blew the crowd. It was insane. Ironically, we're playing at the very same event that he was at. And remember that video went viral. He had just gotten an endorsement from a bank. It was huge. So again, people were focusing on that, but no one asked, how was he mentally? So it's also that thing that unfortunately your depression, the anxiety, bipolar is not going to be written on your forehead. So don't always assume that just because you're doing well financially or in terms of the materialistic things that people tend to put, you know, on a pedestal, that things are okay. You can be coping. And that's exactly what I've been doing throughout my struggle with mental ailments. I've been coping. But to say I've been living, no.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, like you can exist but not live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diagnosed in 2010, 14 years later, 2024.
Yeah.
Still going strong, looking pretty gorgeous. And these are the things that makes people not to believe anyone that says, hey, I'm having this as a challenge because you chose not to wear your stress. You chose not to wear your challenges. Your message to people who are listening to this conversation, who are also, you know, people who have always been taking things lightly to say, no, but she's doing okay. We don't see anything wrong.
Yeah.
Because those mentalities have to change.
Yeah, I think especially within the Black community, we are still having a bit of an issue adjusting to the understanding of what mental ailments really are. You know, I remember when I was initially diagnosed and actually saying it out to people. Firstly, my parents struggled to understand. They literally told me that how can you have a depression? You've got a job, you've got a roof over your head, there's food in the fridge. You can't be depressed. So it's also the education element. So I think right now we're still at the early stages of educating the masses. So we shouldn't be too harsh. People are very harsh. I'm not going to lie. They're very harsh because even when I came out in the industry, I mean, I only came out in 2020 because I really did fear the stigma attached to it. And as an entertainer that's doing well, I wondered if people will start treating me differently. Will they use it against me? So I think a lot of people also feel the same way because I went through a period where I was diagnosed. I had to go to a psychologist and then I was admitted into hospital. My medical bill, believe it or not, came to $250,000.
Hey.
I was there for 30 days.
Yeah.
It cost just over 250,000 Rand because I was seeing 7 doctors a day.
Yeah.
So now, with all these years later, 14 years later, the reality is how many people have access to that? So now the question is, how many people don't even know that they're they're suffering from these mental ailments. And I remember prior to me being diagnosed, I used to tell my best friend that I'm seeing black. And she's like, what's wrong? What's wrong, Chomi? Are you losing your sight? Are you going blind? I'm like, no, I'm seeing black. Everything is black. I can't make out anything. Everything is black. And she didn't understand what I was saying. But also I couldn't find the appropriate words because I needed that diagnosis to then put a label and a name to what I was going through, which was depression. But at that moment, I didn't know of anyone who was suffering from depression, and I didn't have a sufficient information to then be able to self-diagnose per se. So there I was seeing black, and then, so it was a bit tricky for me to then get to that point of accepting that these are the mental ailments. So the message that I would love to send to people is that there is a huge possibility that you yourself may be struggling with mental ailments. And the good thing is that there are free services, there's free counseling like your SADC, but you can just Google. There's so many resources that are currently available that are free. Hence, I also said, let me then introduce the Pruluv wellness platform, because then I can also make sure that I could actually bring to light these services that people, when you actually ask them, say they don't know anything about.
That's the voice of the African queen, DJ Pruluv. I doubt she sleeps for 8 hours on any day from January the 1st to December the 31st, 364 and a quarter days. This is Africa at Play. We still have an exciting conversation with the African queen, DJ Pruluv, the lady that does a lot. And I'm always wondering every time I see her, does she even sleep enough? How many hours do you think you sleep on a good day, or on a good night rather?
And can I tell you the crazy thing? I'm one of those people. I literally count the hours I sleep. Like, it is a crazy obsession. I tell you, like, I can tell you every single day how many hours I sleep. So, I would say, the past couple of years, it's been bad. Very bad. But like I'm saying, with the recognition and the realization that, you know what, this is not going well, it's not going the right way, I need to regroup and realize that some of the issues that I'm facing, especially that affect my body now, even the physical part, is because of the lack of sleep. I've been having Thai massages like so often because my shoulders are very stiff. Firstly, yes, it's the depression, it's the stress, but also the lack of sleep. So yes, I'm going to be honest with you, the hours of sleep have been really, really, really bad. But thank heavens, in the past 2 months, I have improved greatly. So my average hours of sleep now in the past two months, it's 7 hours.
Oh, no, you're
working towards 8.
Yeah, no, you are heading in the right direction. Yeah. Because look, I know we are hustlers. I hustle 7 days a week myself.
Yeah.
But whenever I get an opportunity to sleep, I try to.
Yeah.
And that's why even when I work, I try and work as much in advance as possible. Because one thing that bothers me is when I'm sleeping and I think that, I haven't done 1, 2, 3. I'll lose my sleep and I'll have to wake up and work.
I'm like you.
Yeah. Let's talk about Pruluv Wellness. Go into communities, go into schools, speaking to the young people to have an idea, but also the education about what is it that we're talking about when we talk about these mental ailments. How has it been?
So one thing that I always make reference to is that I'm a believer. I'm a believer in Christ, in God, the Holy Spirit. Hallelujah. Yeah. So when I was in hospital in 2010, one of the questions that I asked, actually the main question was, God, why me? I mean, I've been your loyal servant, I've been a good person, I've done right. Why would I need to go through this hecticness? Because I mean, when a psychologist and a psychiatrist give you a list of mental ailments, because they were like, clinical depression, stress, bipolar, anxiety, ADHD, you're like, oh no, oh hell no, that cannot be me. So you have to ask the question, God, why me? And does this mean that I'm dysfunctional? What's happening? And it was such an important moment when I was in hospital, because God said, it's not about you. It's not about you. You'll understand one day. And it took more than 10 years for me to understand that God would then one day use me to be, the instrument that would then bring healing to a lot of people, because not a lot of people would have the guts to stand up, especially in our industry, to say, hey, I'm that person that's struggling with these mental ailments. Because you see, the other problem with mental ailments is that they're incurable. So they do lie dormant until something triggers it. So that's the thing, that this is something that you may have for the rest of your life. So to now raise your hand and say, I'm struggling with this, you're always wondering, okay, how will people then react to my truth? And that's why you'll find that a lot of entertainers would rather withdraw or withhold this information. So looking at the period when I initially came out, which was 2020, I came out and then the response was overwhelming. And then I went back into my shell, then I started having reservations. Then that fear came back again. And then I went silent. Then I started that process again in 2022. And yes, I had to push myself. It's very uncomfortable to speak about your shortcomings, especially as someone who, like you mentioned, with the awards, you've been glorified. Now you're giving people another side of you. It's like you're tainting this perfect image of yourself. And remember that you are doing it to yourself. It's not someone else. So being comfortable with that. Yes, it took a lot and the adjustment, but then I felt that with the talks that I was doing, the more I did them, the more I realized that more people need to hear this. I've been going to schools, and thank heavens to Cell CC Youth. They then recognized my work and partnered with me, where I then became an ambassador. So I've been going to schools talking about mental ailments and, the journey to mental wellness. And it's so sad that even at school level, you would think that obviously schools would find a way to ensure that they bring either counselors or some form of department that would then assist the students. It's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah. And suicide amongst the young people, also mental ailments amongst young people is at an ultimate high. Remember, they are the ones that are currently facing high unemployment as well. So when you realize that is the group of individuals that need these conversations more than ever, and no one actually seems to care about them, that's when I realized that something needs to happen. And that's when now the birth of Pruluv took place, but before I actually announced it. But now with me going to schools, then the adults, the older people are like, but what about us? Yeah. We want to find out what you're saying, because we see just short clips. We need something like a full-on audio or video, or even better, why don't you come and speak to us? And I thought, okay, this is growing. But I thought, it's actually a great thing. And going back to what God said, it's not about you. It's all about the people that are going to benefit from your journey. And also in corporate, we're in the workplace. So many of us face all these mental issues. But is corporate saying anything about it? No, it's silent. Yeah. So that's why I thought it's time. It's time. I am launching Pruluv Wellness.
Wow, super exciting indeed. What an amazing African story from the African Queen, the multi-award winning DJ Pruluv, producer. Hey, she's a lot of things, this one. Tell me, when last did you make people dance on the dance floor as a DJ?
You see, I'm wearing shades.
Oh, yeah?
It was this morning. I'm booked and busy. Every weekend I'm gigging. Yeah. I literally come from Kayala Mishisanyama this AM. Literally left at about 3 a.m. So, and the previous day I was at Capello Birchley. I was at R55. You'll see the videos.
Yeah.
I've been gigging. Next gig? It's Durban July. It's Durban July weekend. So it's going to be crazy. So I don't want to say too much, but just watch during the week, because it's just been a lot of madness. So just need to calm down and then structure the gig guide properly. Because, with Durban July, so many of us DJs, we try to get as many bookings as possible. It's that one weekend where you can really shine as a DJ. So just busy with that, but it's looking good.
Not only does she make people dance, she makes horses dance as well. She's going to the Durban July. Wow. Talk to us about Ngeke.
Ooh. Oh, my word. I am so proud of my baby, my firstborn baby. So yeah, I've been a club DJ for just over 6 years now. I think at 7 right now. And the one thing that has always been at the back of my mind is to have a song. And a lot of people have been putting a lot of pressure on me to have a song. And I said, I'll do it when I feel the time is right. And like we've been talking about the mental wellness and the journey and everything. One thing that I've always been passionate about is women empowerment. And like what we've been talking about, the stresses and challenges of females within our industry. I then said that I feel that the song and the songs that I will start off with need to be about women, by women, for women. I'm sorry, gents, but you can jump on. No, I'm not excluding you.
Yeah.
So this is when I had the idea that, wait a minute, how about I start having a project where I just feature female vocalists, and every message touches on all the various aspects of females and whatever we're going through, whether socially, in relationships, mentally, psychologically, in every way. So then this is where Ngege was born. And I thought, I've always respected Buhle as a vocalist. And I thought, yeah, man, this is the lady that I would love to have on one of my songs. And I mean, talking about relationships, umjolo. Umjolo, ya stress. And I thought, yeah, this is going to be such a dope song. And let us bring it to the dance floor. We can dance about it, but also have that message that speaks to a lot of us women that, wahamba. Yeah,
yeah.
And I just felt that this was the perfect song to start off with. There are other songs, as I said to you off air. There are other songs, but I thought maybe let's start off with this one. And right now, I'm actually still deciding which one to drop next. But all of them are bangers. Oh, wow. They are hits. And I've worked with Sised Waves. So it's been such an amazing journey. Obviously, as a new producer, learning from other experienced producers. Because, people believe that, females cannot be producers. Hey, they don't know. Do you know, I started with a software called Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
I was actually still at varsity. So I had just gotten a laptop. I bought a laptop. It was secondhand. Little did I know that the person that I bought from was a DJ.
Oh, yeah?
So they had that software.
You found it in the laptop.
And I was bored one day, didn't know what in the world, what it was. And I played around. And I'm like, oh my word, I can actually make songs. So there I was playing. And I was just playing. That was even before I became a DJ or even had that passion or idea that I'll become a DJ one day. And then, I mean, it's been a gradual progression, because I remember also in primary school, I did ballet. And in ballet, I was the choreographer. So for you to choreograph moves, you need to understand music. You need to understand songs and how you can merge them into dancing. So I look at the whole journey that, it was that understanding when I was in primary. It was playing with the software when I was a teenager, and then getting into radio, understanding music, becoming a DJ. And I'm like, no, man, I'm skilled now. I'm skilled. Let's go to the studio.
Wow. Beautiful African story. Before we say goodbye, before we let you go, what would you like to pull out underneath the carpet?
Geez, I think right now, more than anything, as we close off Youth Month, I think the message right now is for young people that I know so many of them have been so discouraged. I think the unemployment is really hitting young people very badly. Like it's really affecting them in the worst way possible. I see it on social media. They're lashing out. And sometimes that pain and anger, because you have so much anger, think about it. We are struggling. We are employed. We've got jobs. We are making an income, but we're struggling to make ends meet under this economy. Now imagine someone who has no income. So it's the anger, and that anger, has evolved to bitterness. So one thing that I would love to say to the youth of South Africa is that don't give up. Don't give up. I am testament that it does take time sometimes to reap the rewards. I mentioned my 13 years here at the SABC as a radio producer that eventually became a radio presenter, club DJ, MC. I've done so much more, but it took time. Exactly like what I'm saying, like the awards only came after a decade. So please don't give up hope. Another thing that I feel is very important to encourage our young people is that we are really realizing that employment may not be coming, so you've been applying, you're waiting for jobs. So this is your opportunity to tap into yourself and tap into your purpose. You can actually start creating opportunities. That idea that you had and people laughed at, that may just be the very thing that South Africa and the world needs, even Africa. So tap into those elements of you that are so unique, that may change the world. And we tend to overlook our greatness. All of us are born with great gifts.
Good knowledge.
Tap into those gifts. Don't be chasing what is popular just because, hey, I'm a DJ Pruluv are DJs, now you must go that way. No, because there's so many of us that are already DJs. What if you then swallowed, by this the crowd, because there are already too many people? How about you start something unique that may change the world? And also, before we go, I need to big up the Kenyan youth. What they have done, we as South Africans need to learn from them. So big up to the youth of Kenya, and we South Africans and the South African youth need to learn from them. Stand for your rights.
Fantastico. You're a motivator as well. 3 words of motivation to Africa.
Believe in yourself.
Oh yeah, there you have it. Lovely stuff. Thank you so much for pulling through. All the best. Keep going with this energy, because it is this energy that is going to defeat anything that you think is a challenge.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and God bless.
Fantastico. That's how we wrap up our awesome conversation. I want to continue, but the clock says no. DJ Pruluv featuring Buhle Ngeke. Enjoy.